Hey y'all, it's Joe for the Cranky Old Gay Guy. It is Sunday, the 7th of July, and it's another hot one today. But for some of you, little prudish out there, who asked me to not go without a shirt, well, this one's for you. It's kind of wrinkled because I just threw it on to cover up my nakedness because evidently shoulders are a little too provocative for some of my audience. Okay, so today we're going to talk about age is just a number, or is it? Let's start with age in regards to how you feel. I believe that you can be any age and feel like crap, or you can be any age and feel great. I myself have many days when I don't even think about my age as far as how I feel. And it just jolts me back to reality when I bypass a mirror and go, ah, who's that? Oh, that old guy looking back at me. Because I don't feel that way. I feel a lot younger. I feel like I'm in my mid 30s most of the time. Mentally, I'm not as sharp as I used to be. And I think a lot of that has to do with my current environment. I'm not around a lot of people all the time in intellectual discussions. So words that would once just come flying off my tongue, now I have to stop and think, what word is that? I also haven't been writing as much as usual, so I'm not looking things up and researching it to make sure I get something right. Hence, you've seen these videos, they're not researched at all. And right there, people say you're as old as you feel. Well, yeah, maybe mentally you are, but physically, no. I'm a person of a certain age whose prostate has swollen to the point that I needed to have it medically corrected or an intervention, meaning that they're going to do some things to your prostate, which I've had done. And you also have to go on medication after that to make sure that or to try to keep your prostate in check. So, in that regard, I don't feel 35. I feel like I'm 85 because, wow, whoever thought that was going to happen? But it does, and it did, and it has, and now I have to live with it. Moving on, let's go to the national world realm for a moment and look at age as just a number. You have politicians out there who are considered elderly. Well, look at Congress, where I think the mean average age is 70 something. Uh, you get people like or what's his name, Mitch McConnell, who not only looks old, but acts old, speaks old, has old ideas, and tends to freeze up and just zone out in the middle of a conversation. Yet he's still in office and he still has his supporters, and no one's trying to get rid of him. And then you go to the presidential level, and you have two elderly gentlemen, 3 years apart, who are both running for the same office. One has a proven track record that goes on years and years and years and years, but he has a stuttering problem he's had his whole life. He's not a dynamic public speaker, and his age is definitely slowing down his body and, in a way, his brain. I think his brain is probably still firing just fine, but he has trouble now taking what his brain is doing and making it into words. And that does come with age. If you've been around seniors any amount of time, you'll notice that they say and do things that may seem odd because you're not used to it. But it happens. And that's just what happens when you get old. And then you have someone else on the other side running for the same office who's 3 years younger, who does exactly the same thing as Joe Biden. But Mr. T does it very loudly. He still stutters. He loses his train of thought. He says things that are way so tangent away that they make absolutely no sense at all. But he says it loudly, like he knows what he's doing. And he puts up this fake it till you make it. I'm in charge, I'm tough, I'm smart, never goes back on what he says. I mean, he does flip-flop a lot, but he never admits that he goes back. He would never say, I'm sorry. And he'd never say, oh, I said XYZ, but I really think it's ZYX. He wouldn't say that. He would say, I think it's XYZ. And then when that's proven wrong and he's asked about it again, he'd say, I never said that. I say ZYX. Well, he lies. He lies through his teeth continuously. Yet his supporters don't care because it's all about winning. And the other side, the Democratic side, has been made the devil in a white dress by the press. And they don't want a devil in office because it also plays on their religious beliefs and it plays on their age. The conservative side is also very old. However, there are younger people in the conservative side who've been indoctrinated into that conservative practice, who are now supporting the conservative candidate, who in reality is not conservative, has never been conservative, is not religious, has never been religious, has been a playboy, a philanderer. He stands for everything that conservatives stand against. Yet he tells them that he's just like them, and they believe him. And I don't know how this whole conversation is getting into politics because we're talking about age today. So let's get back on topic. Age is just a number. Who would you rather have running the country? An old man who's doddering, and I don't mean daughter, I mean doddering, like blah, doddering, who misspeaks, who isn't as quick as he used to be, who has a support staff that makes sure everything goes the way that it should, and that he will have assistance when needed? Or would you rather have an old man who's doddering in a loud way, who walks the wrong direction on camera, just into nothingness, who tends to wander out into the grass and have to be led back, who is very unhealthy looking, and I don't just mean his age, I mean his whole persona. He looks really, really unhealthy. And his support staff will be people who say yes, anything you want, regardless of what his decision is, they're going to support him. So would you rather have someone in office, an old person, who cares about democracy and the Constitution, or would you rather have someone in office who just wants to be in charge and will let his underlings go wherever they want and do whatever they want as long as they still support him and give them his allegiance? Okay, I'm back on politics again. I don't know how I can't get away from this. I think Project 2025, I'm going to have to do something on that in the future. Just because that is what the current Republican, I don't even know what it is, because they're not really a family. And the GOP isn't really a party. They are a fundraising group. I think MAGA is more of a party than actual Republicans. But either way, both of them support the Project 2025, which was created by one of the leaders of the Heritage Foundation, ultra-conservative. And if you actually look into it and read what it stands for, it moves to get rid of democracy entirely and destroy what the United States is actually about, or what the Founding Fathers wanted the country to be about if you're a constitutionalist. Back to age as a number, again, away from politics. Let's talk about 20-something. And since I'm gay, let's talk about a 20-something gay guy who only wants to date 20-something gay guys. That's fine. If that's what he's attracted to, let him date 20-something guys. But if he only likes daddies or is into daddies as well, and he wants to date someone who's 25 to 40 years older than him, I don't see the problem in that, yet society has a big problem with that. If that's what he's into and he has a relationship with someone who's older and that older person is into him, I don't see it being anybody's business but theirs. And it's the same with straight couples. young and old, as long as the younger person is of legal age, no crime is being committed. As long as that younger person is not being forcibly coerced into this relationship, there's no crime being committed. As long as the younger person wants to do this, there's no crime being committed. The older person will be looked at and by certain segments of society, even in the gay community, as being used by the younger person, as being a bank purse for the younger person. And in some cases that's true, some cases it's not. And in some cases where it's true, that's the arrangement that they have. That's what a sugar daddy is. A sugar daddy has an arrangement with the younger person. Sugar daddies are usually, this is a straight term, so you can use it as, I guess, in the gay community, but primarily it's younger women and older men. And a younger woman will enter a relationship with an older man with the understanding that that older man is going to support them, be it in their education or an apartment or a car, or take them on trips or buy them fancy things. Is it necessarily a monogamous relationship? No. And I don't believe sugar daddies want it to be a monogamous relationship, because they want to be available to take their money and spend it wherever they want, on whoever they want, and get whatever they want. And for the younger person, they should be happy that it's not a monogamous relationship, because then they're not expected to be putting out continuously. They might only have to see their sugar daddy once a week, twice a week, or talk to them on the phone, or maybe only go somewhere with them once a month, which could be the ideal situation for that. Are they putting out sexually? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's strictly a companionship thing. Maybe you remind them of someone that they knew in the past that they want back in their life. Age is just a number. It is. In those situations, age is just a number. However, a bank account also plays into it. Now, talk about older women and younger men. Things like the reality show MILF Manor, which moms I like to French kiss, where a bunch of 50, 60-year-old women are sent to a house, and a bunch of young guys in their 20s are sent there to date these older women, because these young guys, just like older women, were really into it. Well, I think most of them are just there, as well as the older men. No one's looking for romance. They're just there to get their 15 minutes of fame. If a young guy on that show is pursuing an older woman on that show, he thinks he's going to get something out of it more than just a physical thing. He's looking for fame. He's looking for money. I don't know if any of the women on that show are rich, so I doubt they're going to be sugar mamas to these boys. And I guess this season, all the young boys' fathers now showed up, and they're going to date these women too. So the women has to choose. Each woman has to choose between a young man and an old man. I'm waiting to see if they do a three-way where the father and son have a sexual relationship with the older woman all at the same time. But I don't watch that show because I don't believe I have that station. I just hear about it a lot online and in podcasts. I don't know if I have a lot more to say about it. Age is just a number. I know that when I'll say, oh, look at that, but it was a little too old for me. I'll have someone snap back at me and say, well, age is just a number. You're being ageist. And it's like, yeah, I am being ageist because I know what I'm attracted to. It's roughly 35 to 50. That's a mentality thing as well as a physical thing. I mean, I think you can look great at any age, and you can look horrific at any age. So there's that. Personally, I like the energy and the physical fitness of the 35 to 50-year-old, more so than older and more so than younger. But that's just my personal choice. Nothing is set in stone. I am someone who is way too old for a lot of people, just because they hear the number and I'm out of the running, which is fine, because if that's how they feel, then I wouldn't want to be going out with them anyway. I also get told a lot, you look great for your age. And I guess that's a compliment, but in a way it's not a compliment. So when someone asks how old I am, I will tell them, oh, I'm 73. And then they go, oh, really? Oh my God, you look so great for 73. And I'd say, well, how old did you think I was? And then they'll say, oh, it's always somewhere in your 50s. It doesn't matter It's always somewhere in your 50s. That's just a range they just jump into. And then I'll tell them my age, and then they'll say, oh, well, you look really great for your age anyway. I've also tried, when someone will say that, they'll say, how old are you? I'll say, oh, I'm 36. And then they go, oh. So that tells you that age isn't just a number. It's also a visual. So keep that in mind when someone says age is just a number. Yes, it is in theory, but in reality, your age does tell you a lot about yourself. I mean, look at my eyes. They're old. And now look at the bags under my eyes. That's right. They're packed enough I could go to Europe for probably 3 weeks and not have to take a change of clothes. And my skin. Oh, let's talk about skin. Age. I don't know if you can see this, but my skin is getting that, when you turn it so it twists a little bit, I get that crepe paper quality that you only find in older skin. And my God, oh, it's wonderful, isn't it? That's all I really have to say today about that. I want to mention today's sponsor. That's right, it's this book that haunts my soul. 35 Letters from a Mother to Her Son by Joseph L. Ferguson, available on Amazon in all formats. Check it out. And today's shout out will go to, let's say age is just a number. So I think it's going to go to, let me get this right. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Shout out's going to go to Wyo Russ on YouTube. That's WYORUSS. So at Wyo Russ on YouTube. And that is Wyo Russ and Chris. Well, the younger person evidently is now going by Russ. Really? I know him as something else, but not online. So this is a couple, really good looking, super fit, super ripped younger man, and a man who is, oh boy, his partner is Chris, and Chris is probably 60, 61 by now, I think. I don't know, I'm just going by ages that are given in different videos. Anyhow, they are a long-term couple that have a 27-year age difference between them, and they've been together a while. They are rural mountain men from, I think, Montana or Wyoming. The Wyo is Wyoming, but I thought that they initially got together in Montana. But again, I don't know. I don't know their history. I just get the sporadic videos. They will have a lot of reaction videos on their channel where they sit there and they'll watch a new music video and talk about it and, you know, how it relates to them, etc. I think that they are worth checking out, especially if you think some kind of an age gap in your relationship is a hindrance. You should listen to them because they do disagree, and that issue has come up. They also take questions from their viewers, and it looks like they have 247,000 subscribers, so they probably get a lot of comments and a lot of direct messages. I think that it's worth watching their show. They don't seem to be putting out as many videos as they used to, but they've also moved across the country. They had moved to the Portland, Vancouver area, and then they moved back to Florida. I think that's where they bought a house in Florida, so they're there now. But their latest video looks like they're back in Montana, maybe visiting, I don't know. But check them out. Age is just a number, or is it? Well, I think they would tell you that it is, but it isn't, but it is. So you can run that by them. Until next time, this is Joe for the Cranky Old Gay Guy. And I forgot to tell you what makes me cranky. What makes me cranky is when someone says, you're too old for that. You're too old for that look. You're too old to act that way. Well, guess what? I am what I am. Get used to it. Till next time. Bye-bye.